might have to bring Henry Cejudo back and put him at 125. Do you think he could make it? He's so thick now.
Yeah, he's a thick boy. He's so weirdly shaped.
Like, for example, Henry Cejudo gets into a crazy car accident, gets decapitated. If they look for his body, they don't look for a 6-foot human being.
Yeah, he
just can't find the rest of his body.
Yeah.
Because this one can't be it. This tiny little body can't be it. No way.
People forgot about Antoine Dodson, dude. And he went to BKFC.
Oh, yeah.
He's tearing up at BKFC.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's doing really well.
What weight class is he? He's a 155, right?
Antoine
Dodson was 125. He was.
You mean John Dodson?
Not Antoine Dodson. John Dodson. I mean, called all black people Antoine, baby.
Antoine Jones, Antoine Cormier.
Antoine Cormier.
Where's my camera right here?
Where else would it be, you f***ing idiot, dude? There's no other camera there for anybody else.
I'll make sure that's on.
This one and that one.
Damn, dude. Leave that in. Leave that in.
It's right there. It's going right to your stupid ass face. Where's Gilbert? I miss him already.
What's up, everybody? Today, I am Gilbert Galone, and I'm replacing him on the Casuals MMA. We have a special guest, Robin Chang, a.k.a. Robin Nurmagomedov.
What's up, everyone?
Robin, we'll get off, everybody.
And we have David So here, the resident shit talker.
Yes.
Talking shit to me about my hosting skills.
Yes.
Pretty bad for a start.
Fucking terrible, dude.
One more time.
So fucking Gilbert's on his third fucking honeymoon. I didn't know. First of all,
The show's falling apart.
Be a month long, by the way. Gilbert's gonna be gone for like a month.
Yeah, what are we going to do?
So he's going to Taiwan and also Japan. Fucking idiot. But yeah, now we got to figure out what the fuck to do without him because I don't actually do any work here.
Yeah,
I don't do any research.
We don't do shit.
Yeah, but it was a crazy fucking fight card, man. And
Crazy.
minus the fact that Ian Garry couldn't show up because I heard that he had a sprained pussy. I'm kidding.
Well, it does seem very like suspicious, right?
It sucks for him.
It sucks. It's just a bad. Do you think he got pneumonia because his feelings were hurt?
Maybe.
You'll never fully know because I'm sure even if he was lying about all that, he probably still was even lying to Dana about it too, right? Because I mean, Dana was like, he's out, he has pneumonia or whatever. Like,
This is the worst thing that could have
if it's a lie.
Yeah.
Especially because of his trajectory and how he's going right now is based on his shit talking and how much he believes in himself. And then he just, during this card where he's getting shat on by every fucking corner, every fighter, every gym, and then he happens to be sick. I'm not saying that he's not. I'm saying that this is the worst possible thing that could have ever happened to him.
Yeah, I would say so.
Well, he missed the press conference, right? So
That too.
That's when everybody was like, "What's going on?" And then he ends up not being able to fight. So it's just like it's just tough optics wise.
That's always going to be the worst, right? Because think about it. Conor is Conor because when it was the Conor era, he won all of his fights, right? He said a lot of things that pissed a lot of people off, but at the end of the day, he was winning almost all his fights,
Yeah.
right?
He showed up.
Yeah. Ian Garry not even showing up to the fight, right? That's, all that stuff that's going, and then not being able to actually beat someone's ass afterwards. So,
And also too in the MMA space, right? The big cardinal sin is just not showing up to the fight.
Yeah.
And no matter who you are.
Yeah,
So then you talk all this smack and then you don't show up.
no matter what happens.
Yeah, and then there's bad press on you and your wife, which is, tough for sure.
Also, too, when he's been really good at these press conferences because he's always attacking somebody who isn't known for talking on the mic.
Of course.
Well, this one was the biggest card with the biggest shit talkers. So,
Yeah.
And this is where we get to see what he's about because the last person he attacked was Neil Magny, the nicest fucking guy next to Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in the UFC. And this time he would have to go against Colby Covington.
Oof.
He would have to go.
And he was ready. Colby was ready with the shots.
Oh, he was.
He had the written. He was reading them off.
Also because they had the seasonal press conference, right?
Yeah.
Strickland was there too, right? So
Yeah,
Strickland
They
had
have
to say some
Strickland
shit.
as well.
Yeah.
Apparently DDP's pretty
Ian
good.
Garry's not that good of a shit talker though, right? Like he's like a Tito Ortiz, meaning he knows like the points to go over. It's kind of like somebody who trains wrestling but doesn't know wrestling.
Yeah.
They could do the takedown, but if there's any micro adjustments, it's like, right?
Yeah.
He's like one of those.
The in-between stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Right.
speaking of the trash talk, right? Going into the UFC 296, there was a lot of controversy with Colby Covington and the shit talking he had with Leon Edwards. What do you guys think about Colby Covington's like trash talk going in? Because he was in the George Washington outfit. It was the whole fucking thing.
My favorite thing that happened was when he was talking shit to LeBron James. and he
Oh,
fucked up
bro.
his name. Dog, that shit made him look. That was the downfall.
Bro, he was fucking up the whole press conference.
Yeah, it was the. He's not used to this shit because
No.
he's already not good at shit talking as it is.
Did he get worse?
You know, he hasn't done it in so long.
Yeah.
And I think like
Maybe the head trauma from Jorge Masvidal too, bro. Like
has-
that's probably real, dog.
yeah, I think so. I mean, he usually has everything written out,
Do you
right?
think the pressure got to him? Because, I mean, obviously he's a huge Trump fan, and he's been out, what, since 2020?
2 years. It's been 2 years.
Is it over 2 years or 2 years?
Yeah, about something.
About
Right?
over 2 years for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, right? So that guy, I mean, look, obviously everybody performs under pressure, but it's like, I don't know. I feel like he treats Trump like a deity.
Yeah,
And I think just the hype and then being out for that long, it kind of makes me wonder why he didn't pull the trigger. Like, right? He was just like stuck in like first gear, I'd say, right? Like,
Well, even after the first, after the press conference, after the post-fight conference, right?
yeah.
After Leon got the decision and Colby starts going on that thing with the shout out to the first responders, hilarious by the way. But even then, while he's saying all this stuff about Trump, they pan over to Trump and he's standing in the crowd and he's like,
I don't know him.
dude, yeah, like, okay, thank you.
You lost,
That's
I'm a winner.
That's a little too much.
Yeah, a little too much.
Too many compliments.
I don't really know the guy.
Nah, dude, it was just way too much. It just seemed like it was so forced, and everybody in that arena was just like, oh,
Yeah.
How do you say you lost a fight without saying you lost a fight? Is you call out fucking Wonder Boy.
yeah.
Ugh.
Like
That was a
that's
weird-
like the best way to get people more pissed off at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he called him a pedo in the
Yeah.
in the press conference.
Like
He was
that's funny. Like that's funny.
That
to
was
me,
funny, and even
you know?
Wonder Boy was like,
Yeah, yeah.
dude, I'll get him on you. You better watch out."
Yeah.
So what do you guys think that there's do you think that there's like a line you can't cross like with family when it comes to fighting?
I mean, everybody says that, right? But I've said this on this podcast before. Nobody gets to dictate how shit talking goes, right? If you shit talk, you're just going to shit talk all the way. It's just, you just have to deal with the consequences that come after. You know, when you start shit talking somebody like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, like what happens? Like, what do you get from this?
Yeah.
You never look good shit talking somebody who's as nice as that guy. And he should have learned from when Ian Garry talked shit to fucking Neil Magny. And I think for somebody like Colby Covington, it's like what we just said. It's fine as long as you're winning.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
You didn't win. You know what I mean? And not only did you not win, you look like shit.
Yeah.
He looked like shit. It was so bad. And you know what?
I don't get it.
I don't want to say too, I don't even want to go out and say that it was, oh, Colby Covington has ring rust, which he probably did.
I think it was nerve.
I think Leon Edwards just was fucking good.
Yeah, bro, he's
Hands
very
down.
You know?
strategy wise. He did the perfect game plan,
He gave him the Kamaru Usman treatment.
and Colby knew going into that fight he couldn't just run up on him and take him down.
Impossible.
Yeah, and Leon Edwards was like forcing him against the cage the whole the first like half of the fight.
He was pressuring him.
He was on the back foot. He couldn't do nothing.
But that was his best chance, though, right?
Yeah.
For Covington. He had to, right? He had to get into his face, but he didn't start doing that until like way later. I mean, even Leon got so confident, he was like taking Colby down.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, he wasn't doing anything with it. You can tell during the scrambles, like you're like, oh crap, like, you know, Covington's like during the scrambles, like he would adjust, right? You knew he knew what was up. But I mean, Leon was getting the better of him, like at least in.
He was like, "You took me down. I'm gonna take you down. Get better position." And he was like, "It was a little scary. It was a little dangerous."
Yeah,
but
yeah.
he showed he has better jiu-jitsu than Colby.
Yeah.
Colby, like he's a good scrambler, good wrestler, but
I want to see what his legs look like because Kobe's legs.
Oh,
'cause,
dude.
he was fucking up his
he was
legs.
he was
Oh, they
walking
showed-
out the arena with like two ice.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, they showed
Yeah.
footage of it. It looked pretty.
He was
bad.
limping. He was like,
limping.
ugh.
Because that
He's
shit
like,
was
"Winston."
purple by the time like round 3 hit.
Oh my!
It was already purple.
And those kicks, man.
Did you guys
Those
catch
kicks
the
were brutal.
Aldana fight?
Oh, bro, that fight was fucking insane.
That
Irene
was-
Aldana.
Oh, yes.
Oh
yes.
my goodness, that was an incredible fight. Let me see if I can-
She fought like a Mexican,
That's what she fights like, bro.
right? Like, but come on. You know what she said at the post-fight after her leg was completely torn up? She said, "We trained to work through the pain." So in a way, their camp did address leg kicks.
Yeah.
But it was in the way of like,
It's just going to
let's
happen.
beat the fuck up out of your legs and then just learn to like fight through it. And you know what? Normally I'd say terrible game plan, but dude, Aldana kept moving forward.
Yeah.
And what was the other girl's name? Who she fought? I don't know.
can't
I
remember.
forgot her name, but she was throwing killer combos in the beginning, right? She
Yeah.
was chopping that leg. If it was like any other fighter, I think that girl would have totally destroyed her opponent. You know, I mean, it was a crazy fight. Right?
They're both so tough to be
They
able
were
to do that.
so good. I think honestly that was my favorite fight of the night.
Oh, for sure. That was the fight of the night.
I was so amped up after that. I went back and I watched Aldana fight Nunez's last fight, like her retirement fight, because it was Aldana, right?
Yeah.
Aldana looked scared. She looked timid. She couldn't like pop off. She was like, fuck this. And she just went for it.
What other fights from the prelims did you watch? Did you guys see Cody Garbrandt?
Yes,
of course.
Cody.
Man, he looked pretty good.
Yeah, Cody's there.
It's funny because I feel like a lot of people still kind of get on him about his low hands.
Yeah.
But that's how Cody fights, and that's why his hands
That's how
are
he gets
quick.
down, man.
Yeah.
So like he definitely was doing. I mean, we didn't really get to see much. It was in the first round, but his blitzes were still there, which I was kind of shocked. I haven't seen that in a long
His
time.
hand speed, he was connecting.
Yeah, his
What's he got
hand
going?
speed's there. Again, I guess like keeping the hands down is one thing, but it's also his chin, right? Like he doesn't have a young guy's chin anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like old Colby though, and what I mean by that is solving puzzles.
Yeah, I mean, he was closing that gap really easy. Like when he was being pressured for, dude, I didn't even see the punch that knocked him out. It was so fast.
Yeah, it was like
it was real
he
fast.
face planted a little bit too.
Yeah,
didn't he?
I didn't know what hit him exactly, but it was like this. It was just so close in, and it was his cross that hit him.
It was good to see Cody get a win. He needed
that
that fucking
fashion,
W,
Yeah,
bro.
he needed it. He got a little, you know how he kind of gets into his groove, and then he doesn't shit talk per se, but he's got that look on his face
Yeah.
when he knows he's got the best of you. He started pulling that off.
So who do you guys think would be a good fight for him next?
I mean, he wants Davidson Figueroa.
I think that's a perfect fight.
I think it makes sense. I don't know if it's a good idea, but I think it makes sense.
Somebody said Dominic Cruz.
Good
would
idea.
match.
Hey, bring it in.
Hey, that'd be kind of tight.
Not a good idea because Figueiredo's going to walk through him, or
Figueroa is just
He just looks like a different
he's a
beast at
different watch,
135.
especially what he did to Rob Font. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if like Figueroa is the one that he wants to go after, but I do think Dominic Cruz might be a great fight for him.
That'd be a fun fight. Just
I
to
think
see
it's
the
big-
rematch.
I think it's big risk, big reward, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think, fighting Dominic is good, but I think that's mostly good for Dominic, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
I think
That's
if
true.
he's fighting Figueiredo strategically, it's like, is Figueiredo officially ranked after his debut?
He's ranked now.
Yeah.
okay.
I think he's in the top 10.
Exactly.
He beat Rob Font.
Exactly, right? So it's like we're still not fully sure on him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, it's a big risk, big reward, right? Like he'll automatically get to his ranking that he wants to get to, and he's back in the mix, right?
Yeah, I think
But
if
dangerous, for
I think if people are like you said, dangerous. If you're questioning Cody Garbrandt's durability, Davison Figueiredo is like a scary fight.
Yeah.
It's like, oof, I don't know, because the way he just walked down Rob Font and how big he was too. And remember how big Rob Font looked against Cody Garbrandt.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my God, Cody's like not that big of a guy compared to Rob Font. So we'll see how that plays out. But it was good to see him get a W. Let's talk about Paddy the Baddy. What'd you guys think? What'd you guys think about the cornrows? Do you guys like the cornrows?
I like any white boy in cornrows. You know how it is, dude. Let's go.
Even if
I
he's
want
a
him-
scouser.
I want him to be sitting on a porch outside New York getting his hair braided. Let's fucking go, man.
Am I gonna lose it?
You know, Paddy is also, he didn't answer anybody's questions. And that's forever going to be his curse, right?
Yeah.
It's like he always looks bad in the way that he looks bad every fucking fight. And that's the thing, too. Did he show any improvement? I don't think so.
Because I think based on Tony Ferguson's career, he's on a 6-fight losing streak, right? Everyone was expecting Paddy to go out, and it was laid out for him. It was expected for him to go out there, sub Tony, beat him in dominant fashion.
He almost had him in the first round.
Definitely.
He was like, Tony was real fucked up.
And Tony Ferguson's not an easy guy to finish, as we've seen his whole fucking career.
Ask his wife. Yeah.
Come on.
Come on, baby.
Come on, dog.
But, I mean, where Tony really fucked up was the last round. Like, he could have David Goggins him the last 3 minutes of the round. There was that point where, like, Paddy, he didn't pull guard, but, like, he fell down, right? And then he was, like, in guard, and then Tony was like, fuck it, no, get up. And then Paddy got up. And at that point, of course, we see it from where we're watching, but it looked like he was gassed, right?
Yeah.
And then Tony started to light him up and started hitting them with body shots. And then he got taken down, right? And then just like the announcers were saying, right? It's like he's too content with being on his back in a 3-round fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. And I feel like he has the jiu-jitsu to like try for sweeps, try
does.
to, because he's a great grappler. But
Great
where he,
grappler, great finisher, but not the best at getting up, though.
Yeah.
Too, right? So
where he had the best success from my point of view was the stand-up.
Yeah.
He was tagging Paddy. And the questions that we have about about Paddy's stand-up
Yeah.
are still kind of there. His
Yeah.
chin's really high.
Yeah,
Tony's
yeah.
just throwing wild shit, and he's tagging him. And you're
Yes.
like, oh.
That's
What
I'm
happens
saying.
if he fights like, a Bobby Green or going up a little bit more, like the really dynamic strikers. At
Like I said,
155.
Paddy's stock went down. Like how does your stock go down after you win a fight? You know, and especially when you fight against Tony Ferguson. So for him, like when I see him fight, I expected to see something better, and I just saw the same Paddy fighting a very dusty old Tony Ferguson. No offense, I love Tony Ferguson, right?
But he did. His age looked very prominent in this fight.
Nobody likes seeing that shit either, man.
Yeah.
Like, that shit fucking hurt to watch.
It's a rock and a hard place, though, for Paddy, right? Because at the end of the day, too, even when I say he was gassed because he beat the fuck out of Tony.
Yeah.
Like he was
dominating. He was dominating position. He was on top. For the whole
you know,
fight.
like, so it's like, I get it.
Yeah, it's not easy beating
Rock
the
and a
shit out
hard
of somebody.
place for people, right?
Yeah.
It does take a lot of cardio and energy.
I mean, I will say this though: if like he wants to be a future champ, like I don't see it in him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird to say for somebody so young.
Yeah.
But then I've seen so many fights of his where does he show championship material? Like it's not in his lifestyle, it's not in his diet, it's not in his ability to adapt in certain situations, it's not in his cardio. Like where is it? You know. So I think for him, if he ever gets to peak out towards the top 10, he's going to get demolished.
Yeah, like I think
Yeah,
a lot of people,
unless he makes some life adjustments. Right?
Exactly. Until we see some big changes in his game.
Yeah,
I feel like
he looks
everyone,
like me between cams. He's a fat motherfucker.
What do we do with Tony Ferguson? What do we say?
You would tell him to retire? I think he'll fucking kill you.
Yeah, he'll stab you. And then if somebody brought this up too on the internet, I didn't even think about this. If he retires from the UFC, who's probably going to grab him?
BKFC.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe a PFL might grab him.
Yeah.
Maybe Bellator might grab him. So you see all that and you go, oh no, please, not like
He's
this.
going to keep fighting until he dies.
Yeah, he's going to keep fighting.
He doesn't. I could be wrong, but do you guys feel like Tony just doesn't listen?
No, 100%. Like he's considered highly uncoachable though. So when he does his camps, and if people don't remember this, he used to just go into a mountain and then hit wood. You know what I'm saying? That was his fight camps. And then, coaches
Kicking
would
metal
come
bars
in.
and shit.
Yeah, coaches would come in as almost like an ancillary thing. Like
Yeah.
they just kind of tell him a few things here and there. But Tony always had his own coaching.
Yeah.
And even if you look at his wins during his fight streak, he was getting his ass whooped until he wasn't.
He would get hurt and he would come back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He'd outwill
get
people.
hurt a lot. Yeah, for sure.
He was always almost knocked out. Even in the Anthony Pettis fight, he was getting his ass beat until he somehow won. There's always something with Tony, right?
He gets rocked a lot.
And then his age now becomes a factor. His durability now becomes a factor. Well, maybe not even his durability because he was still alive somehow.
He's a survivor, bro.
Yeah.
I was expecting that fight to be a lot worse for Tony Ferguson. So in my eyes, it's almost more of a win for him than it is for Paddy.
And then listen, like I said, I love David Goggins because I think, well, he helped me lose weight. But other than that, you did not need to be in that corner. He said absolutely fucking nothing to Tony. He went in, he goes, "You got to get there, Tony." And that's all he said.
And he's right. He got to get there. What they have to determine what there is.
When you came in, your fucking breath wafted of David Goggins' dick. You fucking bitch. You just love this. I hated it so much.
I think it could have been applied that last 3 minutes. That's why I was just so frustrated.
Yeah.
Tony, I was like, just keep him up, dude. Just go for those body shots. And he was like hitting him with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like everyone's a Tony apologist, right? Though.
Yeah.
You're just like, God, just win.
They want to. Yeah, we want to see him
Yeah,
do
you
well.
just want
We
him
want
to
to see him
go
get a
out.
W and ride
then-
off in the sunset.
Exactly. That's what I want.
Okay, so then who would you give Tony
To ride
in an
off in the
ideal
sunset?
world
Okay.
to ride off into the sunset?
Matt Brown. Ooh. But I think Matt Brown kills him.
Matt Brown,
Yeah,
tough fight. Like, what's a winnable fight for him?
I don't know. It's not like his division's easy. You know what I'm
Like
saying?
he hasn't showed the the game to be able to beat anybody. And 155 is the toughest, right?
That's what I'm saying.
We
Who
look
you
at
gonna give him?
1 through 15.
Well, he's not ranked anymore, is he?
No,
Tony's not ranked.
dude, 1 through 15. Number 15 is Drew Dober.
You can't give him anybody through
You can't.
top 15.
Ugh.
Like, who are you going to give him? Jalen Turner? Like,
Yeah, you're not going to give a top 15. I mean,
what the fuck's going to happen to
you
him?
can't give him a top 15. You want to give him somebody like him who's still puts butts into the seats, but isn't ranked, right? There's got to be a
This is
155.
this is even a weird conversation to have.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like we're talking about fucking
7
Tony-
losses in a row.
You know what I mean? This is Tony Ferguson. We're like,
Yeah.
who can we give to Tony Ferguson that he
Yeah.
could beat? What a weird thing to say.
That is very.
But this is also why
That's-
why
you're
it's
right.
a lose-lose situation why everyone's against Paddy. This
Yeah.
is why it was kind of a loss for Paddy, right? Because Paddy beat him up. But he got gassed.
bro.
And honestly, for Paddy, he should have taken him out, submitted him, done something, right?
What? Okay, so the beginning of the end of Tony's career was when he did that double weight cut, right? and
Yeah.
fought
Yes.
Justin Gaethje.
Yes.
The double weight cut was no good.
Right? Because I don't know. I've never done anything like that. I just know from what I hear from fighters throughout the years. But
It'll take years off your
every
life, for sure.
fighter brought that up. They're like, doing the double weight cut was probably not the smartest thing to do.
And then
right?
getting your brain smashed in
through
for
Chandler.
fucking how many rounds was not a good idea. Even when I go back and I watch that fight, it's still really hard to watch.
Well, he was winning the fight though, too, to a certain degree, right, Tony? He was doing good. He was competitive.
He had a competitive first round.
It looked like
And then that was it.
That
Yeah,
uppercut.
that's true.
That was it. That was it.
Oh yeah, that uppercut. Fucking
Like Justin Gaethje was getting his timing, and then once he got his timing, it was just
dude,
it was an avalanche.
One strike power hits like that, like fucking Bryce Mitchell.
Honestly, the only fight that makes sense for him is Jim Miller.
Jim Miller might make sense,
But Jim Miller is probably gonna kick his fucking ass.
and because Jim Miller's been on a good tear.
Like he's been fighting. He's active. He looks
You know what?
like he took less damage than Tony Ferguson did.
Oh, for sure.
That makes sense. Give him Jim Miller, but make it a fight night, main card, 5 rounds.
Wow.
Right? Give Tony a bit of an
time.
advantage at least, where you give him at least 4 and 5 rounds. Right?
Dude, what about Chase Hooper?
I think Chase Hooper looked fucking good in his last fight, dog. He looked fucking good.
We might
dog.
see some good grappling. You know what I mean? Like,
Who's the Russian dude that looks like Chase?
oh, dude, the striker Krylov.
Yeah.
After
He's
that guy-
170, I think.
Yeah, he's been going through a tear, but then I remember what's his face? Chase is like, you have to now call me the American version of him.
Yeah.
Him being the-
Because he's that dude.
yeah.
But this is what we're talking about too when we talk about Paddy. Look at somebody like Chase Hooper, young fighter, right? Every time you see him fight,
He's getting better.
he's getting better.
Yeah.
When he got
Young,
his ass
beautiful.
fucking beat, what happened? He took time off and he came back better.
Yeah,
He
made
keeps
adjustments.
leveling up, and I don't see that in Paddy. And I think that's the disappointing thing for me.
Well, he's just
Yeah.
got to get back in. I mean, I think he's got his win. Paddy's back in the mix, though, in the sense of like now he's back on the roster and fighting, right? Like I think he just needs to get in there more. And let's see what happens. I don't rule him out completely, but I do agree with you. If he doesn't have any life adjustments, right, he's probably not going to.
Because I want him to be in the UFC. He's entertaining as fuck.
Yeah.
So I like it. You know.
Yeah, I love Paddy.
He's good for the
in that
sport.
sense.
Especially for the UK fans. When he fights in UK, it's lit.
Oh, it's
Great.
insane.
It's so cool. The whole fucking crowd going nuts for him.
Oh.
But let's talk about Josh Emmett and Bryce Mitchell.
Hey.
How fucking scary was that KO, bro?
One of the scariest knockouts I've seen in the history of the
My
UFC.
boy, dude,
Didn't
Bryce
that sound
Mitchell
like
started convulsing.
Yeah.
Didn't that sound like a shin kick to the
Oh
head?
my god!
It looked like when Tank Abbott knocked out that one dude and when his teeth flew out and then
Oh
he was
my
like,
god! Yeah.
doing the
dude.
string motion.
You see his toes curl up. You
Yeah.
see his
Yeah.
fingers, dude. That
Yeah,
was
they didn't really show too much of his seizuring, but I mean his
Oh my
legs were shaking.
Like
Crazy.
in general, it's you don't ever really get to see somebody lean their face into a shot.
Yeah.
It was like a
Yeah.
mid holding session, but
Yeah.
with his teeth.
and then just went to death.
And Josh Emmett stepped in, closed his fucking eyes, dude,
Clenched.
and landed that crazy fucking KO.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So
Yeah, I don't know what to think about these guys anymore, man. Like, do you think nobody was definitely rushing to fight Josh Emmett on like 8 days' notice?
yeah, I was actually kind of surprised, and I said this on the previous podcast. I was like, I have a feeling what's going to happen. He's going to hit him with that overhand and then sleep him, and specifically because, like, Bryce Mitchell was not going to be able to just take Josh Emmett down. Josh Emmett's wrestling is actually really fucking good.
Yeah.
And he's low to the fucking floor.
And he's ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's questionably roided out.
Oh, questionably.
yeah,
You see those TTs?
Yeah,
You know
he
what I'm
got
saying?
some gyno for sure.
Got a little, gyno mast.
He got some breast tissue around them things.
Yeah, a little thing, And
But-
then, he's literally circling off. He stops, and then he's like, you know what? I'm going to exchange
Yeah.
with Josh Emmett.
Oh.
And Josh Emmett galloped into it. He did a micro step,
Yeah.
galloped, and went bink.
Step right into it.
Right before that shit happened, I shit you fucking not, I said, nope. And then boom, he hit him. And I was like, what the fuck? Because I literally saw him gallop into it.
You think that's KO of the year?
That's definitely KO of the year, dude.
Yeah. Recency bias is real too.
Probably
Yeah,
KO of the year.
that was harder than the kick.
At least scariest KO of the year.
Dude, Leon's
Oh.
kick, it was great. That was harder than Leon's kick.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
It
It looked real bad.
Bad.
It looked like he died.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
I was sad though because like I've been saying this, but I like it's a troll in me. Like I always want I want this to be the redneck era. I want Strickland to be a champion. I want Colby to be a champion. And I wanted the dark triad, which is, you know, Bryce Mitchell. All three of those fools as champions, at least on the roster at the same time, would have been great. But those hopes got lost for me.
Yeah, look at that shit. Oh, that's
him
so
convulsing.
Yeah, just straight up
fucking
convulsing. It was scary.
Oh
my man, fucking twerking for change right now, dog.
my God, bro.
Yo, I'll throw some dollar bills real quick.
He's no longer a flat earther now.
Look at that, dude. Them cakes be fucking.
I feel like it's wrong if we keep watching this on repeat.
Yeah. It's
It actually
bad.
turning me on.
Slapping them cheeks, boy.
Cheeks, baby.
You're a bad guy, dude. Dave is a bad guy.
Hey, look, I'm just saying, dude. Like, first of all, Bryce Mitchell too is also a problem for anybody. In the
Yeah,
division.
for sure.
But just not on 8 days' notice with Josh Emmett. It's
You
not
got to have a full camp on Josh Emmett.
Yeah,
he's a full camp fighter, bro.
like, who are the people that pieced up Josh Emmett? It's people who keep him at range.
Yeah,
right.
Who has a skill set to do that? Mm-hmm. Like what Ilya. Now it's even crazier what Topuria did to Josh Emmett.
Oh, for sure.
Right? Like you think back on that, you're like, oh my God.
I think Topuria is the next guy.
And Josh Emmett kind of has a similar body type and style to like Volk, maybe.
Yeah.
So we'll see how this plays out with
Volk's
Volk.
much
and-
quicker, and you know,
Yeah.
Volk
he's got more tools in the bag.
Yeah, the tricky
first
part
of
about
all.
Volk is that stance switching, right?
Yeah.
He's just like he's so good at that, right? So
Lot
see.
of feints, that city kickboxing style.
Yeah, but now it gets me even more hype for Volk and Topuria.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people are worrying about Volk and where his mental space is at, especially post KO. But I'm like, well, Volk is a champ, dude. He's going to be ready to fight no matter what.
gonna
So
look great.
he's going to be prepped.
for sure.
So for Josh Emmett, do you think this gets him a little bit closer to a title shot? Do you think he's next in line?
He's
Do you think he
definitely-
got to fight somebody else?
He's lost too much.
Yeah.
He's lost recently to who? Fucking Mexican boy. Kicker.
Oh, Yair.
Yair Rodriguez pieced him the fuck up. Jesus Christ.
Josh has been around for a little while now, right? Like, I mean, he's not like a young buck.
And even a couple of wins were questionable, right? Calvin Cater.
Yeah.
Calvin Cater beat the shit out of him and he somehow won. I don't get it.
And even with Dan Ige.
Dan Ige pieced him up too with that jab. He got pieced up by Dan Ige and also Calvin Cater, which nobody thought that he won those two fights.
Yeah.
So
yeah, if he can adjust, then let's see, right? But if he doesn't make any adjustments or he doesn't evolve, then I mean, it's already kind of been shown, right, that he's like, you know, at the way top of the heap, he's not there.
He's 38.
Yeah,
he's up
I mean,
there.
if anything, the only reason why we're really talking about it was because he knocked the fuck out of Bryce Mitchell in that way, right? So
And who knows what that fight would have looked like if, like what you said, if Bryce Mitchell came in with a full camp.
who knows?
Right? Maybe that fight looks completely different. But we'll just move on from there because what I really want to talk about is Shavkat, bro.
That shit hurt my
Hey, when you're watching that fight in your head, were you just like, this is Mongolia right here? This is fucking Genghis Khan's spawn.
Now I have a theory. It's like the closer your eyes are together, the more dangerous you are.
Oh my God.
That motherfucker's eyes are straight up to his nose.
Dude, and get this. This guy he came into the fight with a torn ankle ligament.
Oh, for reals?
Yeah, bro.
Oh, is that why he wasn't striking maybe?
And he decided, okay, I'll just have to grapple.
Well, even
I'm not going to kick. He goes, I'm not going to kick. That's what he said.
biggest thing to come out of Kazakhstan since Borat.
Yeah, dude. This guy was like, fuck it. I'll just take him down and choke him out.
You know what though? Wonder Boy had the best of him though during the stand-ups.
Yeah.
Right? He was connecting, and like I know we're talking about Rachmanov here, but dude, Wonder Boy, I think he is the most underrated
100%.
fighter in the UFC of all time. And the reason why I say is because, dude, he implements his karate taekwondo like as if it's like what we thought UFC 1 was going to be like. You know what I mean? Like when the karate guy comes in and he leaps in and he does like this one punch, you know, one kick, you know, like never gets touched, moved out, you know, putting your head out there, right? But the fact that he can still do that to this day, right? Even against Rachmanov, right? Rachmanov did not like that, right? When they were standing up, he was like, "Oh shit," because I think Rachmanov was a little bit like, you know what? Let me stand up with him. Let me see what it's like. And he's like, "Fuck this," right? And he
Yeah.
flinched.
It's so tricky. And he has the ability to knock you out.
Yeah.
Right? One shot changes the whole fight.
most
Yeah.
beautiful fighter adapted to MMA
Oh,
I've
man.
ever seen using traditional martial arts, right?
But when Colby lost and he called out Wonder Boy, I was like, I would love to see that fight.
yeah, you know, I'll watch it.
I would love to see Stephen Wonderboy Thompson fucking sidekick him in the head.
I just don't want to fucking want to talk about Colby right now. It's
yeah.
just like,
oh, we'll get there.
yeah, shit talking is a whole thing. But anyways,
We'll,
going
we'll,
back
yeah,
to-
we'll dive deeper into fucking Colby
all
because we
the
got a lot
stats.
to talk about.
Yeah, for
with
sure.
him. But with Shavkat, man,
Yeah.
like he is the real deal. He has 17 finishes.
Well, not just that, right? Most fighters who have an impressive record it's mostly directed towards one type, right? Oh, I'm a, Anderson had a good balance, but, he was a striker, right?
Yeah.
He had submissions, but he was a striker, right? Like, Rachmanov is like almost like 50-50 down the line between knockouts and submissions, right?
It's whatever he gets to first.
Yeah, that's a
whatever way you want to go out.
Yeah.
If you want to
smash.
Yeah. If you want to turtle up and I'll choke you out, okay.
Well, what made the fight though interesting though was this, and this is also why I think that Wonder Boy was such an intriguing fight, where I thought that he did have a chance. Is Rachmanov though he relies a lot on his face blocking powers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
he gets hit.
Like you don't consider Rachmanov an elusive guy.
No.
He's not trying to slip as much as the average guy. Like he'll kind of eat some punches and he's fine with that, which is not obviously a sustainable way of fighting, right? So that's one thing I always kind of think about with Rachmanov. I think he's going to be a future champ or he's going to be a contender, absolutely. But I think he needs to work on like being not okay with getting punched so often too, right? Because he gets punched a lot.
I think that's just the Genghis Khan genes.
Yeah.
I just think that's the warrior spirit in
It's
him.
the young. I'll just
I think
walk
I got
right to you.
sold on him when he fought Ismagulov.
Oh, yeah.
That was an amazing fight.
Ismagulov is a
And
beast.
he's a
dude.
beast.
Yeah,
and
he's a
that
Another
shit-
Dagestani guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's another fucking banger. And I didn't know who was going to win that one.
Bro, imagine you go have to compete against a guy named Ismagulov.
For real, dude.
All the Ovs and if you're from Stans, they're all scared.
Yeah, the Evs.
Was that Wonder Boy's first submission loss?
I think.
Yes.
I think
First submission
so.
loss. 'Cause I thought Matt Brown's-
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy to be, again, a traditional guy and not get submitted, right?
In the fighting at the highest level for the past, like he fought Gilbert Burns. And you look back at Stephen Wonderboy's like wins and losses, and you go just the past 5 fights, and you go, man, this guy still fucking got it.
Yeah.
and
Look
he's
how
38 years old.
Look how pretty he makes it.
Man,
Look, I get it. Effective, dirty, scary guys for sure. But to make it look as pretty as he makes it look, you know what I mean? It
Yeah.
just looks like a
I think
Taekwondo
he's also-
demonstration.
Yeah.
One of those guys that's in the UFC that's like a true martial artist, right?
Yeah.
Like how
Oh,
he
yeah.
lives his life inside and outside the octagon
100%.
matches.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
he's been able to keep up. First of all, he's only been KO'd once, and it was by accident by Pettis.
by accident.
By accident.
Yeah, that made me so mad. He jumped off the cage with a Superman punch.
Yeah,
and he KO'd
was
him.
the most random.
Do you remember
thing.
that? It was a long time
it
ago.
was a Superman punch off. Yeah.
So he's
But what
never-
happened to the Matt Brown fight? Because I remember Matt Brown was like, so this was like the first era of Wonder Boy when he first came in.
I don't think he got KO'd. I think he lost it by decision, right?
God, I thought he got finished. I thought
maybe.
for some
You
reason.
might be right.
I mean, he had Matt Brown
That was
real
early
hurt,
on.
like really, really hurt, and then Matt Brown just used his grit and came back. But I don't know if he didn't submit him, but I guess maybe he TK. I don't know. I don't remember.
Over his
the
whole
finish line.
career, he hasn't taken much damage.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's why at the age of nearly 40, he could still do what he does, just because he doesn't have as much wear and tear compared to everybody else. And it's not like he gets like extremely fat.
He
like,
still moves well.
Yeah.
He moves extremely well.
Yeah, it was his second fight in the UFC.
Oh, it was
Lost to Matt Brown by unanimous
yeah.
decision.
Okay, yeah, that's where Matt Brown came.
Yeah, and I think he's 40 years old. He's 40 years old fighting at the highest level.
Man, who knows what he would be like if he just had a little bit of Dagestani in him.
Oh.
You know, if he could just find his way off of the cage and get into better positions, who knows what his career would be like.
Yeah.
You're talking about Wonder Boy?
Yeah.
I think at this level, though, you need some sort of offensive wrestling tactics.
Yeah.
Like being defensive is one thing, but having a little bit, like look at Leon,
Leon showed that a little bit.
right? Like he just has a little bit of offense. and-
just to make them have to wonder and think about getting taken down. Even that alone, right?
Yeah.
Because that sets up your shots, right?
Because once you engage, once Colby engages with Leon, I'm sure there was a thought of his head like, what if I get reversed, right? And that was happening in the fight and some of those exchanges.
Because I would think for Wonderboy Thompson, specifically how he sets up his jab and he kind of takes that angle, right? And he comes in with that cross. That's also a great way for him to enter for a takedown.
Oh.
So I always thought he was going to develop that, where he would just, because he always jabs, angles off, leans in with the cross, and then he's right at the hips. So I thought after he connects, he would dive for the hips, take him down, and start smashing him. But he's never been able to do those two things.
Or just even shoot and just be like, I'm good.
I could have got you, but I did it.
I grabbed your butt. Grabbed your butt real quick.
Yeah, the shooting and the threat of the takedown all day.
Because he always has the better position and angles on everybody. So it's like, it's right there. But
There is that moment though when you do get the takedown where the timing is right. The real grapplers though, where they have those like, especially like you always see it with Cormier.
Yeah.
He'd initially go for something or get attacked with something, and then it seems like it was successful. Or let's say he was the aggressor, like he wouldn't initially get it, but then he'd adjust and do some micro thing that, you know, that's
Lost of
like
position.
how many fucking years of practice, right? I think that's also, though, like where it's kind of like a lot of these guys, though, where they're concerned. It's not just specifically the takedown, right? It's like during that scramble of, you know, getting that person down to the floor.
The nuance of the grappling.
Yeah,
right?
the nuance.
If we ever get to talk to him, I would like to ask him why he never developed any offensive grappling. Like, why was that never something that he thought that he should do when he got to the top level? Because I'm just curious, right?
Yeah.
'Cause it's MMA, baby. And after like the sport kind of evolves, like if you don't make those adjustments, the sport kind of leaves you behind.
I think it's also because you're just so good at one thing, too, right? Like, I mean, I don't know, when did Wonder Boy start? Probably as soon as he could stand, right?
And I remember back in the day when George St. Pierre was welterweight champ, he was like, dude, there's this guy that you guys haven't even seen yet. His name was Wonder Boy Thompson. He's a karate guy, and he's kicking the shit out of everybody. He's the greatest striker I've ever seen. Everybody was singing his praises for so long.
And then Matt Brown beat him.
Yeah. Which was MMA shit. Just being like, oh, what's going on?
Yeah. But on that was like around the same time Sage Northcutt was like,
oh, yeah.
Both the, you know, like the white blonde marketable like fighters at the time.
Stephen Wonderboy too is also just a phenom. Like I mean, he's one of those Anderson Silva types.
Yeah.
Like when is there going to be another Stephen Wonderboy Thompson?
It's going to be a long while. Yeah. He's a special dude.
But the next fight we got to talk about is Pantoja and Royval.
Hey man, we said Pantoja was going to get it,
and he just out-grappled him.
Yeah,
he just out-grappled him the whole time. Brandon Royval looked really good too. He had moments. And he actually hurt Pantoja. These 125 fights, man, you go, oh, this is what like real cardio's like.
Yeah.
This is legit cardio.
And they're just running.
Spurts.
Yeah. Dude, they're all over the fucking mat.
Pantoja, though, admittedly, though, he goes through like these explosions and then he'll pace himself and he'll recover and then he'll explode again, right? Versus like the consistent. But I think it works out for him, though.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Because he's so tactical in his position.
Yeah, he was able to do that with Brandon.
Fucking Royval's huge, dude. How the fuck is he 125?
He's a tall, lanky motherfucker.
He might have to go to 135 because he's just so big.
We sat with Royval at the fights, but I didn't know who Royval was, which actually makes me feel terrible because every single fighter that we sat with.
How could you do that?
Every single fighter that we sat with, I was like, take a picture. And then me and my girlfriend were probably talking to him the most because he was actually sitting with us.
Oh, you were talking to him the whole time?
Yeah, he was super chill. I mean, even to the point where when Chewy had the sign, he's like, let me take a picture of you. Like, because he was like,
that's so funny.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, whatever, dude. Please leave me alone.
Oh, but,
hey, can you get me a water?
Yeah, you're not a UFC fighter. Shut the fuck up.
100% I knew he was in the industry because when we were talking, I was like, you know, what do I know? Obviously, I'm a casual, but, you know, like I know when somebody knows what they're talking about. And so he knew what he was talking about. So I was like, oh, he must be, maybe he's like, part of a team. Or
he's a friend of a fight.
and then
you started correcting him.
Yeah, and
you're like, actually, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
We started watching the Fight Hype, and then she's like, I think that was the guy that we were sitting with. And then she did, you know, she did her little detective work. And I was like, it's the guy. And I was like, dude, and I felt bad, you know. But anyways.
Hey, just say your shout out to Brandon Royval right now, dude.
Royval, shout out. Look, man, you're an amazing fighter, but also at the same time, man, why didn't you work on getting up? I know you were hitting him from the ground, but like, focus on getting up, man. Create some
you were talking to me too much.
Yeah, you know, like coming from the casual.
You just get up more, dude. Come on.
Yeah, just get up.
Why couldn't you just get up?
Yeah, why are you flaying your arms like that?
Really, this fight though really made me like Pantoja even more. He's so well rounded.
Yeah,
he's so well rounded. Dude. He's an MMA fighter, dude.
And then you watch Brandon Moreno, right? And you're like, dude, he's well rounded.
Yeah.
But then you see how that fight goes down. You're like, oh, that's why he won. That's why he was able to beat him.
Moreno, I feel like he's good at adjusting. Like if they had a rematch later, I think he might do a good job.
Yeah. Their fight was close as fuck
it was
too.
Close.
Either way.
Yeah.
Flyweight should just have 7 fight series, dude.
For real,
like
dude.
The playoffs and shit.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Like on the, you know, like the guys where there just isn't enough. Let's be real. There's just not as much competition at like 125, right?
Yeah.
Like there is. They're all great fighters, but I don't know. Like I wouldn't be surprised if someday if you can't get enough fighters, why not just do tournament style with these younger guys? Right?
Yeah, for real.
Or like a best 2 out of 3 type thing.
Because the story of the tournament, it gives the opportunity to these young guys to fight these up and come or these champs that have been there in the division for a while, and maybe they could upset them, right?
At least do that until you have a stacked roster.
Yeah.
Right.
Mohammed Mokayev, he's coming up. We'll see where he ends up.
That
right?
boy's a fucking dog.
He's so scary.
Yeah,
he's so fucking good.
So what do you think for Pantoja? What do you think is next? It's probably gonna be Brandon Moreno or Amir, right? The guy he's fighting.
It's gonna have to be one of those two after whoever wins. It's probably gonna be Amir after him. Yeah. I mean, the division isn't stacked enough. I
Yeah.
mean, what are the options?
And the biggest star, one of the biggest stars just left.
I know.
So it's like, fuck. So maybe Mokaev might get pushed to the top a little faster. We might see him fight for the belt next year.
I mean, he will. Like anybody who looks good at 125,
Yeah.
it's like
Give him a shot.
Yeah, you just give him a shot. There's just not enough.
You might have to bring Henry Cejudo back and put him at 125.
Fuck,
Do you think he could make it? He's so thick now.
Yeah, he's a thick boy.
Yeah, I don't
He's
know.
so weirdly shaped. The
Cejudo's
more-
not-
ever since you said that about him, and every time I see him, I'm like, yeah, David's right. He is very weirdly shaped.
Like, for example, let's just say this: like Henry Cejudo gets into a crazy car accident, he gets decapitated. If they look for his body, they're gonna look for a 6-foot human being.
He's one of the original big head dudes, like big head mode. Yeah, for sure.
We just can't find the rest of his body.
Yeah.
Because this one can't be it. This tiny little body can't be it. No
This little
fucking way.
4'10" body is definitely not it. This one got giant head.
A lot of these guys are like that though. What was that one fool? DJ, and then they did the scoring wrong. Way back.
Fucking what's it called?
The guy with the mustache.
I know who you're talking about.
Ian McCall.
Ian
Yes.
McCall.
Ian McCall. Dude,
Yeah.
where's he at?
I think he's fully retired.
Is he done
like
so?
A CBD. I think he opened up like some like big. Like,
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, he
Uncle
did
Creepy,
something
dude.
on that on the business end. Uncle Creepy. Yeah.
Uncle Creepy, right?
You know,
Dude.
people,
Yeah.
people forgot about Antoine Dodson, dude. And he went to BKFC.
Oh, yeah,
and he's tearing up in BKFC.
Oh,
right now.
yeah?
Yeah, he's doing really well.
But what weight class is he? He's a 155er, right? Or
Antoine
145?
Dodson was 125. He was.
You mean John Dodson?
Not Antoine Dodson. John Dodson.
John
I mean, called all black people Antoine, baby.
Antoine Jones.
Yeah.
Antoine Cormier.
Antoine Cormier.
He's like, yo, David keeps on calling all the black people Antoine. Hey, yo, Antoine.
Antoine, where you at, dog?
John Dodson, my bad.
Oh, my goodness.
John Dodson and the whole, if you guys ever go back, it's hard to relive these moments, but fucking Mighty Mouse and John Dodson had a little beef.
Yeah. And he knocked out TJ Dillashaw. too.
Yeah.
Yep.
John Dodson was
Is he still a Greg Jackson guy? Because he was a Greg Jackson.
Yeah, I don't
guy.
know. Probably not anymore. but-
BKFC now, so I don't
Yeah.
know what's going on with him.
All right, let's talk Leon Colby. What'd you guys think? What'd you guys think of the trash talk of Colby?
Listen, like I said, Colby Covington, when he messed up the LeBron James name, he was like, hey, you know what? Fuck LeJean Jones. I was like, dog, get the fuck off the stage.
And then he was
Colby.
telling Leon, he goes, I'm going to take you to the 7th layer of hair.
hell.
He goes,
Yeah.
of hair. And I'm like, what? And then he says it again and he goes,
Tito. He's a Tito.
yeah, like maybe even worse.
It's bad.
I'm going to take you to the 7th layer of hell and maybe we'll see your dad there too.
Yeah, it's like, ugh. Everybody was just usually with his cringe, you kind of like believe into his character a little bit, but the character was so bad this
Awful.
time. It was just really, really bad. And I think
Awful.
like ring rust also on the mic is very prevalent for him too, because he was never really good in the first
The
place.
pressure got to him. I really think the pressure got to him.
I think that water bottle fucking even the odds.
Rocked him.
I mean, okay.
Bro, because low key, he was like, he flinched like I would have flinched. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I think a fighter shouldn't flinch like that.
You know, I personally,
Especially after
hit
you
in the
talk some
face.
shit about your dad, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's so crazy.
I thought that, yeah.
the comments he made, look, at the end of the day, they're disgusting. But this is the fight game, right? And as Dana always says, is no matter what you say, the great part is you can solve that in the octagon, right?
Yeah.
So you could say whatever you want to say. And for me I think that there are no boundaries, but there are definitely repercussions when you can't
Yeah.
follow up with that.
Yeah.
Like it's
You got to take that risk.
Did you hear what Dana said?
What?
because look, some guys, their game is getting in people's heads, which makes
Yeah.
them
It's a valid
Yeah,
a valid strategy.
thing. Did he truly get into Leon's head? Do I think that Leon might have performed a little less better than if he would have if he didn't hear that? I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Well, he admitted it. He
Yeah.
said he was like that affected me. I had to really like center myself. I had to really
Yeah.
think about how I was going to move forward, and those comments did affect me.
look, they're fighters, dude. They're beating the fuck out of each other physically. Look, if you're gonna say some real mean things, like at the end of the day, you're a fighter, so
Yeah.
you kind of have to take it too, right? You know, I don't think that there's any kind of look. I love Wonder Boy guys. I love like, you know, my favorite fighter, one of my favorite fighters of all time, right? Lyoto Machida, right? That traditional martial artist. But dude, if you have guys like Connor, just win though.
Yeah.
Just win.
Yeah.
Well, for entertainment standpoint,
Yeah.
and as far as a pay-per-view standpoint, if the UFC is comprised of like 2% of these dudes that just talk the wildest, spiciest, unforgivable shit, I think it makes everybody win.
Yeah.
Because Dana White was talking about how obviously it's fucked up, right? And if the guys that are okay, if Covington's okay
Yeah.
to look at himself in the mirror afterwards and be like, yeah, I said some really fucked up shit. If he's okay with that, okay.
But he's never
going to do it.
Character.
Yeah, but at the same time, Dana White was like, after that press conference, the pay-per-view went up 25%.
Yeah, he did say
goes,
that.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he says.
Yep.
So it is from a business standpoint, like, okay, well, we have to look at this. It's
Yeah.
not something that you can't do. But from the fighter standpoint, I totally understand why they're like, dude, we should get rid of this. This should not be okay. But there's always going to be guys that are going to be willing to go that far.
Yeah. Let
Yeah.
the fighters fight. Let them say whatever the fuck they want, but then also let them fight. So
And I heard some guys talking about, should they implement fines for these types
no,
of things?
no.
I don't think so.
I mean,
think
if they
that's
want, it's not
ridiculous.
going to change anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
because at the end of the day is they're fighting, right? Like you can settle it in the fucking octagon.
Also, too, sometimes with the shit talking, it brings out a character out of some people who don't talk that we never get to see.
Sure.
Like some people need
can wake
to be
somebody
poked.
up.
Yeah, they need
Yeah.
to be poked a little
Yeah,
bit
yeah.
so they can show their personality so we can actually like them.
Yeah.
Dude, notoriously, BJ Penn, right? If he liked the guy, he always would like. I mean, I'm talking about when BJ was like really good, right, in his prime.
Back in the day.
He'd always try to look for something to be mad at his opponent about because when he liked the guy too much, he just didn't perform well.
Yeah.
Right. BJ was a guy who lived off of like that shit talk,
Hate and anger and stuff like that.
Yeah, hating his
So
opponent.
it's fine. I think just with Colby Covington, it's like I wonder with him, and just as a person, like I wonder how he deals with that when everything's done with. Because it's like you do all this other shit and then you lose and you still haven't touched gold.
Yeah.
It's like fuck, man. Like
Yeah,
not
I mean,
only do you have to
proud
walk
of
around knowing that you went to the lowest level of a human being, and then you still didn't get what you wanted. It's
Yeah.
like how do you go home and you live with that? And to be honest with you, if you listen to his post-fight conference, his voice was hoarse. He was screaming.
Yeah.
In that backstage, he was screaming his fucking head off because he was talking and his voice was gone. I'm like, that wasn't from the fight.
I like his post-fight speech where he was like, you guys all a bunch of broke bitches, fuck you, and he left.
Yeah.
Like he should have done that more often. I feel like that's the better voice instead of the fucking, I would like to thank all my first responders and shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying, right? Like all the same people, like he was like giving a shout out to. They were like everybody turned on Cole.
Yeah.
Like so, that's what I think I really like about like the general like American spirit, right? And I think this is where Strickland, I think, embodies a true blue collar working American, right? Even Strickland, as brash and as like shitty things that he's ever said or whatever, like I think Strickland's kind of a good guy. Like, I mean, like he's a relatable guy, Colby, on the other hand, is, he's a WWE character, right? So it's like, how can you...
but not even a likable one.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
not even a likable villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no humor in it, right? Chael would be funny about it.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why everybody loved Chael.
Yeah, he'd say
He's
crazy shit.
clever as shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
on his
so
post,
fucking good.
he said Big Dog trying to feed a bus a carrot.
yeah, he says things
was
so
setting the
ridiculous
bus.
in such a serious manner.
And he goes, I swear to God, I don't know. Like, this is what I saw.
him trying to feed him a carrot, I mean, even when he was like
dumb.
Anderson, right? When he was like talking about like, like plumbing and shit. And he was like, when he grew up and, he was like sitting there out in the dirt and mud and,
Yeah.
Playing with sticks.
Yeah. But dude, shout out to Chael on that.
So who do you guys think is next for Leon? Who's going to get the next shot at the strap?
Hey,
I'd
man,
be happy
give him, if he I mean, I feel so bad for Bilal. Like,
Yeah.
you know what?
I think it has to be Bilal. I personally think I'm a Bilal
Even
guy.
Cormier forgets him and Bilal are friends, right?
Yeah.
Even he keeps forgetting to bring him up. And so then he brings him, like even during the announcing, because I was watching some of it last night, he kept on, he's oh yeah, Bilal, Bilal. Yeah, he's my friend.
How terrible is it that his nickname is Remember the Name and nobody can remember him?
Yeah.
And he's had like his wins in the past 3 fights. They look very good. They've aged very well.
That was Leon, though, too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Remember Leon? Nobody cared about Leon.
Well, Leon is also, his argument for
Definitely.
not wanting to fight Bilal is also kind of stupid.
Yeah.
But maybe Leon's not that good on the mic. He goes,
No, I don't think he is.
He was like, well, nobody gave
Leon's
me
terrible.
a chance, when I was winning and nobody gave me a title, so why should I give him one? I was like, that's the reason why you should give him one.
But it's also the only fight that makes
I
sense.
agree.
They have unfinished business. He was already kind of beating him.
Yeah.
But it's like, who else is going to fight at 170?
Yeah, and Bilal,
Like, who does Leon hasn't even given a name out?
Yeah.
Bilal has stayed active. He stayed winning. And also, too, you already fought him and you stabbed him in the fucking eye.
Yeah.
So you actually, he
kind of owe
deserves
him.
to fight. Yeah, you owe him. You stabbed him in the fucking eye. If you didn't do that shit, that illegal move, then this would be a non-conversation. So for him to be like, well, nobody gave me a chance. He's like, yeah, and what happened? You were whining. You were complaining. You were saying that it's unfair, that it's all political. So technically, you saying that means that you should give Bilal the fucking fight.
Yeah.
So I don't think he understands that he just disproved his own point. I'm like, what are you talking about, Leon?
Yeah, but Leon's just like, he's a great fighter, but he's definitely the least eloquent.
Yes, he's not really good on the mic. It's so bad.
Yeah, you know, like,
But that's part of the reason why he didn't get no shine, right? Like
Yeah,
a lot of
exactly,
people didn't
right.
really mess with him.
Yeah, yeah.
But Islam was talking very loud, and he's like, "Please, brother, please give me this fight." He wants to fight Leon. What do you guys think? How do you think that would go down at 170?
I think Islam needs to stay where he's at.
Yeah, too much jumping.
I hate this jumping bullshit. I'm so fucking over it. Like, stay where you're at, defend your belt. By the way, it's not like his division isn't fucking stacked.
Yeah.
You know? If he had no competitors, fine, whatever. You still need to defend that belt at least 2 more times with all these other monsters. Because, hey, your boy has gotten so much better. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Islam is definitely focused on he doesn't want any rematches. He just wants to fight new people the whole time.
Yeah.
In his defense.
He might have
blame
to
him.
fight Armin again because
Armin's coming
is a
up.
different monster right now.
Yeah,
He's
it's
coming up.
like even Sandhagen, right? When Sandhagen was losing to the best, I think he's a different Sandhagen too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's
He's
got the
so
right-
different.
Yeah.
He's fucking Sandhagen
Dude.
Nurmagomedov.
I'm
got
all,
better.
I'm all about the Armenian fighters, dude.
You know what I mean?
Carl Parisian back in the days, dude.
Oh, yeah,
Shout out
yeah.
to Glendale.
What do they call him? They call him the Heat. They call him the
Heat,
Heat, right?
yeah.
The Heat.
Dude, he was so good at excuses, though. I remember there was a time where, like, he got his tooth knocked out, and they were interviewing him. He's like, "Nah, it wasn't a tooth; it was a veneer."
Big difference.
yeah. Big
Not a real
difference,
tooth.
Big difference.
It was cap.
It's your tooth now, dude.
So in the UFC 298 press conference, Dana White announced the 299 UFC fight card in Miami.
Dude.
And these are some of the fights they mentioned. They said Ian Machado Garry versus Jeff Neal, which is going to be a sick one. They're going to rebook that one.
Yeah.
Right? And they have Peter Yan versus Song Yadong. Another fight that got rebooked
Oh,
for this fight.
shit.
And then
Yeah,
we have
great fight.
Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena.
Oh, that's a hard-ass fight,
That's a
dude.
tough fight for both these guys. And then, so those are the fights that are announced for UFC 299. What do you guys think of this? so
Damn,
far?
dude, that's actually hard to say on all of those.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then also, Kevin Holland is going to fight MVP Michael Venom Page.
That's
it's
such a-
official, headlined by Sean O'Malley and Chito Vera.
You know, the Sean O'Malley Cheeto Vera fight, I'm actually very unsure
Yeah.
what the fuck's going to happen.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I really don't know because Chito Vera in that press conference, he looked like he's a gangster no matter
Dude,
what.
Cheeto's such a G.
But I feel like he's not going to be fazed by Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, I don't think he's mentally phased by him at all.
Right,
I
he's
mean,
good-
Cheeto's biggest knock though is he starts off too slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's like a Cerrone, but I think it'll be a good fight. I think that'll be a great fight.
I think as long as Cheeto starts amping it up around the 3rd round, he should be fine.
Yeah.
If he starts
could pour it on.
doing that whole thing he did with Sandhagen where he couldn't get off at all, that's a bad idea. Because in that 5th round with Sandhagen, he actually started tagging him.
Yeah.
Which I don't know where the fuck that was in round 3 or 4.
But Sandhagen's so good at controlling all that stuff. Right?
Yeah.
he's such an intelligent fighter.
Yeah, he's a
He
thinking
reminds me
man's
of a
fighter.
young Dominic.
Oh, definitely.
Not
Yeah.
fighting style, but just really
The way he
intelligent.
thinks about the game, right?
Just know he's smart.
And I know Sean O'Malley, he's very serious with how he crafts his game plans, how he goes into fights. But I don't know what he's going to look like in 5 rounds.
Yeah, because it's
We
not
don't.
like...
That's the only question mark we could have, right?
The good thing about O'Malley, though, is as much as a cocky young guy you think him as, I think he's also very reasonable in knowing where he lacks.
Yeah.
Which to me sounds like he's a teachable guy.
He seems pretty self-aware.
Yeah, exactly. He's
Right.
pretty self-aware.
He
and
knows
I
what
think
his
that's
strengths
it,
are.
yeah.
I actually think that Cheeto Vera is going to TKO him. Only
Does be
because
crazy.
Sean O'Malley can do all the running around he wants, right? He's definitely not going to knock out Cheeto Vera. Nobody has been able to.
Yeah.
Cheeto Vera, I think there's probably a video on Reddit somewhere of him getting shot in the head and the bullet just bouncing off his head. Like, I don't understand him, you know?
Yeah.
What's it called? Corey Sandhagen's thing is that you find out he's mixing it all up. And I've yet to see Sean O'Malley mix up any type
Yeah.
of takedowns.
Especially if he's only going to strike. If he's only going to strike, that makes Chito Vera's game plan a little bit easier.
Yep. very defensive wrestling, but like you said, no offensive wrestling.
Yeah.
So I don't actually know if Sean O'Malley has the ability to put that type of pressure onto Chito Vera, and I feel like Chito Vera is going to walk him down, but he's not going to knock him out like he did Aljo. So I think around the 4th round or so,
because he's got to make him like expose himself the way Aljo did.
It's going to be a good fight, I think.
And I don't think
regardless.
Chito's going to play around with that shit.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a great fight.
I think Chito's going to be champ.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
What a fucking fun fight.
And the reason why I also want Chito to be champ, because Chito loves fighting, and he's down to fight anybody.
Yeah.
He don't give a fuck. He don't give a fuck if he keeps the belt, doesn't, whatever. He'll
He's
fight.
like, I'll kill you.
Yeah. He'll literally kill them.
You see that clip with Bradley Martin?
Yeah.
He's like, do you think I could beat you in a street fight? He's like, brother, like, I'll kill you.
That's it. Just as a matter of fact.
No,
Bradley Martin,
no
that
games.
weightlifter
I'll
dude.
kill you.
He was like, street fight? Street fight's different.
Yeah.
Like, I'll kill you.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
Cheeto's
Like,
scary.
this is Scarface,
Yeah.
dude? What the fuck?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, he's got that switch.
Yeah.
He's got that switch.
And he was turning
Yeah.
it on
Yeah.
in that interview, and I was like, Bradley,
it wasn't
stop
even
asking these guys these questions.
It wasn't a question of him like, oh, he's a bigger guy in a street fight. He might tackle me. He's like, Cheeto's like, oh, I'll stab you. Like, I'll fucking gut you.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I'll literally cut your throat open.
He looks like a killer.
Yeah.
I agree.
He's like, I thought we were just having fun, dude.
It's like, no, I don't have fun ever.
All right, so at the UFC 296, there was a fun little brawl with Sean Strickland.
Look at Gilbert's wife.
So this happens, Sean Strickland,
That's the crispiest white shirt I've ever
and it literally happened right after the UFC does this little like promo type of thing.
How fucking Dragus fucking dodges the bullet.
Yeah, like, what the fuck?
What the fuck are you doing, guy?
Kind of corny, dude.
Yeah.
Kind of fun and corny. But these guys started fighting, bro.
Yeah.
As soon as the camera leaves, this guy jumps up. He tells Gilbert Burns and his family to move over a little bit. And then he jumps in there and starts scrapping.
You know, everyone's having a great time except Bruce Buffer. I don't know about that clip, but there's a clip where Bruce Buffer's in the background too, and Bruce is going like this.
Dude,
He's like so disgusted, but everyone else is having a good time.
it's funny because Brandon Moreno sees it happening. He grabs his girl
Oh,
and
yeah,
their
yeah,
drinks
yeah,
and they move off to the
yeah,
side.
I think Brandon knew what was going to happen.
Dude,
Yeah.
Strickland is the champion that we didn't know we needed. I honestly, I mean, Dave knows this. I literally would watch every Strickland fight to see him get knocked the fuck out.
Yeah.
But after Pereira knocked him out, the way he responded to how he got knocked out, like, you know, I got fucked up. The man, motherfucker punches hard. He's like, I can get in his face. I can punch him. But at the end of the day, that's a different level of power.
Oh.
That was the first moment I was like,
This guy's
I kind of
kinda
like
cool.
this guy. You know, I kind of like Strickland. And now I'm like, I can legitimately say I'm like a Strickland fan.
I liked Sean Strickland, man. He definitely grows on you,
Yeah.
you know. And
I mean, did you hear about his thing with Theo Vaughn? He's on a podcast with him. He basically
I didn't listen to it yet.
So Theo said that Theo told him that he would actually delete the podcast. He wouldn't even put it up. But Sean said, you know what, fuck it. This is life. And again, that's yet another thing that I respect Strickland for. A guy who's not comfortable talking about his emotions, but I guess he was bawling or he was crying
Oh,
in the
shit.
podcast.
Wow.
You know, obviously it has to do with like, you know, his dad and, you
Yeah.
know, his physical abuse and stuff.
And then Drickus mentioned that, right? He talked about in the post-fight, the pre-fight.
You know, I think Drickus didn't mean to take it there, but then he's like, shit, I kind of went past the point of no return because first was like, I think his main question to Strickland was like, dude, what's your deal? Why are you so mad? Right.
Yeah.
And then he brought up his dad, but I think at that moment, I think Duplessis was a little bit regretful for saying that. I think he didn't mean to, because then you also get thrown into the category of Covington, right? Because
Yeah.
he was like so fresh on the same kind of thing. But not to defend Duplessis, I don't think he meant it as maliciously as Covington did.
and he's definitely foreign, you know.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they probably talk about child beating differently than Americans do.
yeah,
They
that's
probably welcome it, dude. Yeah, fuck.
we're all saying because, you know, we're all fucking Asians.
yeah. It's like no
I-
big
yeah,
deal.
yeah, yeah.
Rick is also too, by the way, he's also one of those like guys I just don't like watching fight. He's just so clumsy.
He's a marauder, bro.
He's just a marauder, and like I said, even the way he knocked out Rob Whittaker,
Yeah.
if you look at it in slow mo, he was shocked that he hit him. He
Yeah, he
didn't
was-
know he hit him.
Yeah.
It's like
But I think that's good for his confidence, though.
he's just so awkward and he's just so clumsy. I'm like, dog, you're such a clumsy just buffoon.
Trip on his toe, KO you real quick.
Yeah, one of those type of things. I'm like, so it's like, you know, I'm hoping that Sean Strickland just beats the living fuck out of him because he knocked out Robert Whittaker, but for some reason,
I took that personal, bro.
it
bothered me.
It bothered me a lot.
I was like, who the fuck do you think you are knocking out Rob Whittaker?
I just
That's
feel
my
like
guy, dude.
For some reason, even though he beat Rob, I feel like he still doesn't deserve the title fight.
Yeah.
I don't know why I feel that way. I know a lot of people disagree.
Honestly, when Izzy knocked out Rob Whittaker, I was like, don't give him the belt.
At this point,
I was like, I don't think he deserves
it because Strickland wants it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my opinion, like I think whatever the champion wants, and to me it sounds like that's
And
the fight.
then like the pre-fight stuff.
Yeah.
This is going to be a big fight.
Of course.
Yeah.
This is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And all the eyes are on Strickland now. Everyone's like,
Dude.
I think all the Colby fans are like, oh, Sean Strickland's way cooler.
Dude,
Yeah.
Dude, with Strickland, anytime on my feed you see Strickland get into his truck and he says, "Listen, guys, I'm listening."
Yeah.
All right.
I can't help
Every
but to
time he
watch.
gets in his truck and he's like, "Listen, guys."
When he said that thing about his dad, though, that fucked him in the head a little bit.
Oh yeah.
It was like kind of like shocking.
Well, that's why I'm real curious to see that Theo Von podcast.
To see him switch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
And then I
wasn't
also want to
expecting
see
that.
if Duplessis is going to again double down and watch that podcast and use that.
He's definitely going to.
He should,
And if
kinda.
Sean's going to get fucked in the head by that mentally,
Yeah.
Sean's going to have a lot of trouble dealing with him in that cage because
I agree, but Strickland might be a guy though that might do better when he gets shit talked like that.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
any
could be
fighter
wrong.
does though. And
You think so?
Shit talking is different than watching somebody crumble.
Yeah, getting somebody in their head. Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
he
yeah. Getting
crumbled.
You think he
head.
crumbled
He
on?
mentally crumbled.
Yeah.
When he called him,
Yeah,
like,
Strickland-
when he didn't say, usually when he calls people a forgot,
Yeah.
right? It's like joking. He was hurt.
Yeah.
Well, he went immediately. Well, because it transitioned immediately from Strickland talking shit about Covington.
Yeah.
Right? He was talking shit about Covington. And then it went immediately into Duplessis saying,
Your dad doesn't love you
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna beat you harder than your daddy did.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, Strickland also did, not that it really matters, but I guess it plays into something to get him more mad too, was I think Strickland also defended Duplessis a couple times prior to against like his other opponents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But who knows?
But dude, when he was
Either way,
laying
it's a fight. It's
when he was
gonna be a
laying
fight.
those elbows on his head, I was like,
That's some dad hate right there.
yeah, right there, dude. That was some different type of tactics. That wasn't like, oh, we're fighting. I'm trying to kill you.
Yeah.
This is why UFC for fucking world peace, man. I think about this a lot, but like you have like, if you hate this like Trump touting fucking MMA fighter who's talking all this shit and winning, you want to see him lose, right? So the best thing to do is you get to see him potentially lose, right?
Yeah.
I think I love that. I think that's world peace right there.
For sure.
I think we're in this era that it's like Street Fighter, and I love it. I love that everyone's representing countries and
Colby's
and
guile, dude.
cultures. Yeah, dude, I'm all about that, dude. I'm all for it. Like, I think it's great.
You know what I fucking hated about that interaction between Drickus and Sean Strickland was when Sean Strickland's like unloading these elbows, they fucking grabbed him, they tripped him backwards. It's like you're gonna put this guy into a position where he can get his face smashed in because you're holding him back. You should hold back Drickus too.
Yeah.
I hate it when people do that with street fights.
Yeah,
I
but so-
fucking hate
yeah,
it.
yeah, I get it.
Because I know like they're
There should
trying
be a
to like
protocol,
break
yeah.
it up.
Yeah.
But then what if Sean Strickland fell and cracked his head backwards because you guys were all grabbing him?
Yeah.
It's like, what are you fucking doing? You gave him the advantage.
Dude.
Hopefully the same thing that happened with Jones and DC will happen between these guys.
Oh.
Remember that? When they shoved each other and they fell over, they knocked
that
down the
was
whole
the
stage.
best.
They're not doing that
You're gonna
shit
definitely
again.
see Dana in high alert mode, right? For sure.
Dana was like, "Oh, I'm a
But that's the
dumbass.
thing.
It's my fault."
Yeah, but Duplessis is never gonna initiate that.
No,
right?
no,
It's
no,
always
no,
gonna be Strickland.
Sean Strickland's a
Yeah.
fucking psycho, dude,
Yeah,
in the
he
best
is.
way possible.
Yeah, that's what
They
I'm saying.
definitely
He's
had
the
this-
champion we never asked for.
Yeah, right.
I think Drickus had this idea of like, oh, this is what you're supposed to. You talk a little shit. It's like, yeah, but you just don't want to get that close to Sean Strickland. Like don't walk up to him.
Yeah.
He's about that life. Don't do that shit.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was gonna jump over that row of people like he did,
Well,
and then
dude,
made
they-
it like a fucking bit. You know?
They
Yeah.
even interviewed Gilbert's wife. She's like, I'm not a fan of Strickland shit talking, but it was nice of him to tell my son to move over.
Yeah.
He has
Like,
morals.
they
He's a man of the
Yeah,
people.
they even interviewed her.
It was so weird because you see his face. He looks so calm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just-
Yeah, and there's the meme, right? Brandon's looking up like, oh, shit's about to go down. You know?
He
He
fucking
knew.
knew.
Yeah.
He fucking knew.
Yeah, Brandon knows.
I could tell what's going to happen.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up for the Casuals MMA podcast. This will be our last podcast for the end of the year. We have to wait for Gilbert to come back. And then by January, we'll have some new episodes for you guys covering some more fights and all the news that we missed. Robin, thanks again for joining us today.
Always a pleasure.
David, do you have a message for the fans? The
Like,
first fan?
comment, and subscribe. If there's fighters that you want to see, tag them in the podcast. So
Please.
if you saw the B interview. You see how fucking fun it was.
We're a fun time. We're a fun hang.
Yeah. And by the way, some people were just like, dude, how could you talk shit to Paige Van Zandt like she's an actual fighter? I was like, yeah, I'm trying to sell a fight,
Yeah.
you fucking idiot.
We're trying to make money here.
And look what happened. We even tagged her. We're bold about it.
Yeah.
I want to see them fight so bad.
And look, these are just words. We're just saying stuff.
Yeah, come on now.
We're just instigating. That's what we do.
You don't apologize for anything.
Yeah, come on.
You don't think I want to see these two hot girls sock each other in the face?
None of us want to see it.
Yeah.
But if it means a bag for both of our friends,
Why the fuck?
why not? Everybody wins. you
Yeah.
know? Everybody wins.
I'm not saying I get a percentage cut from this.
Yeah.
I literally don't. So, I hope so. No, just kidding.
David's going to be the corner if this fight happens.
Yes, hell yeah, dude. I'm going to have to wear cups so my dick don't get hard. You know what I'm saying?
Come out with a humble.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the new year.
Peace.